Hey guys, and welcome back to the totally normal Gran Turismo 5 playthrough. If you haven't watched the previous episodes, I recommend doing so, because they're gonna provide a lot of context on where we are now. Also, if you stick to the end, you'll see a little bit more. Anyways, I welcome you back to the world of Gran Turismo 5. Now, I really wanted to do Japanese classics, but the problem is that I don't have any cars that are eligible for the event, and also, none of them are premiums. So, let's see what the used car dealership has to offer. Heh, nice. We can use this car for Japanese classics. And before I forget, anyways, let's go race Japanese classic cars. The first race is at Suzuka East. So let's see how I do. The first corner came around and I managed to overtake the classic Skyline and the Bluebird hardtop. The S-curves came around and I managed to overtake the Honda S800 and the Mazda Cosmo Sport. And then it took me a long while to catch up to the Dome Zero. But once I did, it was very easy to overtake it. The AI were so slow that I managed to take home the victory with no problem. And earned 5,000 credits, which is not a lot, but I'll take it. I looked behind me and noticed that the AI is driving the same car that I am. Anyways, the second race is held at Tsukuba Circuit. The first corner came around and it went smoothly, but sadly, no overtakes. I tried to overtake my twin on this section but failed. And then I tried again and succeeded this time. And then I managed to overtake the slow Honda S600. The next corner came around and I managed to overtake the Mitsubishi Galant. And then I overtook the Mirage on the outside. This corner came around and I managed to outbrake the Isuzu. And then on the second lap, I overtook the Bluebird hardtop with no problem. But then disaster struck, as I tried to drift and this happened. Insert explosion here. The AI used this opportunity to overtake me. And this was also the final lap, so my stress levels were over the roof. Anyways, this section of the track came around and I managed to overtake the Mitsubishi Galant and the Mirage. And then I managed to overtake my twin using some clean racing. And then I overtook the Isuzu with no problem. This section of the track came around and I managed to out-accelerate the Bluebird and gained back my lead. And then I just cruised to the finish line and took home the victory. And earned another 5,000 credits. The third and the final race is at Grand Valley East. Not even the first corner came around and I'm already out-accelerating the Skyline Sport. And then the braking zone came around and I easily overtook the Cosmo Sport and the Skyline. This small straight came along and I managed to out-accelerate the Galant, if that's even an actual word. And then the next braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the 2000 GT. Overall, this race was really easy. So easy, in fact, that the biggest challenge was not falling asleep. Quite literally. And earned another 5,000 credits on top of that. And yeah, that's Japanese classics. After all of that, let's see what I get as a prize car for winning this event. A Z... Wait, what? What in the actual fuck? Anyways, let's go beat Festival Italia using the Fiat Coupe which I bought last episode. The first race is at Rome Circuit. Shocker, I know. Anyways, let's see how I do. The first braking zone came around and I easily overtook the Barchetta and the Spider. This high-speed corner came around and I easily overtook the Giulia Sprint. Another braking zone and I easily overtook the Spider and the Stratos. Overall, this race was really easy. And even though the Stratos was competitive, it still didn't stop me from crossing the finish line and winning the race. And earning 12,000 credits. The second race is held at London Circuit. I overtook the Fiat Punto on the braking zone, but then it overtook me back. In this race, I wasn't really doing too well. That is, until this corner came around and I managed to overtake the Fiat Punto again. Another braking zone and I overtook the Giulia Sprint, along with the Italian Yugo next to it. And then it took me a while to catch up to the two Alfa Romeos. I tried to catch up to the Alfa Romeos, but the Gordo steer didn't let me. I tried to catch up to them on this braking zone and I failed again. You know what they say, third time's a charm. I used the cornering strategy on this section, which allowed me to catch up to the both Alfa Romeos and overtake them. This event was somewhat challenging, but not as challenging as something we're gonna get to later on in the playthrough. But anyways, I just cruised to the finish line and won the race. And earned another 12,000 credits. And yeah, that's Festival Italia. Now, let's see what we get as a prize car for winning this event. Hopefully it's not something like a Fiat 500 or whatever. A Giulia Sprint GTA, which we can use for World Classic Car Series. Anyways, let's see what the used car dealership has to offer. Ha! Nice! We can use this car for Muscle Car Championship. But we'll get onto that later in the playthrough. Anyways, let's go beat Schwarzwald League A using the 190E which I bought in episode 4. The first race is at Nürburgring Grand Prix circuit. Shocking, I know. Anyways, let's see how I do. The first braking zone came around and I managed to overtake the Vectra, the Golf 2002 Turbo and the TT all on the same corner. The next braking zone came around and it went okay, but sadly, no overtakes. This section of the track came around and I managed to catch up to the SLK 230, but unfortunately, that wasn't enough to overtake it. I tried to overtake it again on the next braking zone and succeeded this time. I don't even know how, but then it took me a long while to catch up to the Beetle. This sharp corner came around and I used the cornering strategy to try to catch up to the Beetle. And then this straight came along, which made it even more difficult to catch up. But it's no big deal as I easily caught up to it on the next braking zone. But then I got out-accelerated again. The entire second lap was dedicated to me trying to beat the Beetle. I don't know what to say honestly, every time I think there's an overtaking opportunity, there's not. Seriously, never in my life have I ever thought that I would be outshadowed by a freaking Volkswagen Beetle. Anyways, this section of the track came around and I finally managed to catch up to the Beetle. And then I overtook it on the straight. I thought I had this race in the bag, but how little did I know that there was a major threat on the horizon, which wasn't really a problem until the final lap began. I could hear the Opel Speedsters getting closer and closer, and then I had to battle with the Speedsters for the rest of the race, which by the way was really nerve-wracking, as I had to block the Speedsters every time there was a speed section. And trust me when I say, this track has a lot of speed sections. One wrong move and it was all over for me. Anyways, I went through the final chicane, which is the only place where the AI is slow, and now all I had to do was cross the finish line without being overtaken. So I took home the golden trophy, earned a well-deserved 26,000 credits, and reached level 16. I wasn't taking any chances, and I bought some upgrades to make the next race easier. Anyways, the second race is held at Tokyo Route 246. The first braking zone was coming up and I managed to overtake 3 cars. But then all 3 of them overtook me back. The next corner came around and I managed to overtake the Bora and the 2002 Turbo. And then it took me a bit of time to catch up to the Volkswagen Polo. But once I did, it was very easy to overtake it. And then it took me a long while to catch up to the other 3 opponents. I tried to catch up to them on the speed section, but no luck. And then the straight came along. I managed to catch up to the Audi S3 and overtook it using Slipstream. And I also overtook the Volkswagen Golf using the exact same strategy. Let's just say the whole lap was dedicated to me trying to catch up to the 1 Series. And the overwhelming amount of Gordo steer didn't help much either. I tried to overtake it on the speed section, but once again, no luck. And then we got to the straight. On the straight, I used the same strategy from earlier, which allowed me to catch up to the 1 Series and overtake it. And even though the Speedster was there, it still didn't stop me from keeping my lead and winning the race, and earning my well-deserved 26,000 credits. And yeah, that's Schwarzwald League A. After all of that struggling, let's see what I get as a prize car for winning this event. A Speedster Turbo. Now, I'm not sure if I'll be able to use it anywhere, but we'll see. And that's about it for today's episode. But before I go, I have to say that episodes of this series may take longer to make. And there's a few reasons for this. First reason is because I want to focus more on the Gran Turismo 6 No Money Challenge. The second reason is most of the remaining events either require cars that are way too expensive or cars you rarely come across in the used dealership. And the episodes might take longer to make because of all that. Anyways, if you enjoyed, like the video. And maybe even consider subscribing, I would really appreciate it. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in episode 8.